and welcome to the Meatless Mama. Today we are making Use It Up vegetable soup. We know that grocery prices are on the rise and we want to be able to use up what we have in our kitchen so we're not wasting food. So I created a recipe based on some food that I had that needed to be eaten. So one of the things that I found at the store was a big veggie tray. It had carrots and celery, it had tomatoes, and it had broccoli in it. And we used the tomatoes and the broccoli and some of the carrots and celery for last night's dinner. We had salad and we had some veggies and some dip. But we had some carrots and celery left over, and I thought that would be great for the start of a soup. So we're gonna have carrots and celery, we're gonna have garlic, we're gonna have an onion, and then I found some corn and some peas that were already opened in the freezer. We're gonna add some random cans of things from our pantry. So we have some pinto beans and we have some green beans. Since this is a vegetarian meal, this is gonna be our protein. I had bought these little alphabet pasta just to have on hand in the pantry. They were really cheap. Got them from Walmart, like 28 cents a bag or something, and each bag is 7 ounces. And I thought, oh, we could throw these in. I didn't have any other plans for those. This is what I use instead of broth. It's a vegetable base. So you just mix it with water, and the ratio is 3/4 of a teaspoon of the base to a cup of water. So rather than buying veggie broth, this is what I use. I used to make my own veggie broth. Don't have time for that right now. So that's what I'm using. And then some different seasonings. We're gonna use some basil that I got on sale, some thyme, throw in a few bay leaves, and some salt and pepper. We are going to start by sauteing our veggies in coconut oil, and then I will show you how we make the rest of the soup. To the pan of oil that is already started on medium heat, I added the onions and celery. I sauteed those for about 3 to 5 minutes. Then I added in the carrots and sauteed another 3 or 4 minutes. Then I added in my broth, which is the water and the broth base, and it was a total of 8 cups of water. Just give that a stir, and then I turned it up to boil. And after it boiled, then I added the beans. So it's simmering now. I added the carrots. I added the corn and the peas. And then I started adding the canned green beans. That's when I let it simmer for about 15 minutes. Before I simmered it, I remembered I need to add the bay leaves and the seasonings. And then I covered it and simmered it for about 15 to 20 minutes. Here's the basil going in. Didn't really measure it, just maybe a couple teaspoons. In a separate pot, I boiled some salted water, and then I added both bags of the pasta. This is important that you cook this separately, because if you cook it together, then your leftovers will get mushy because the noodles will soak up all the liquid. So here I was tasting the soup for seasonings, and I ended up adding more salt, and I added more thyme. I added more of everything, basically. More pepper. And also more basil. This was a very large amount of soup. I think it ended up making about 8 servings. So here I am pouring some in my bowl. I added the noodles in my bowl as well and tasted it, and it was delicious. Served that alongside some bread. Second recipe already, twice baked potatoes. So you can see here that I have roasted some potatoes. in the oven for an hour at 425. After I roasted them, I was supposed to let them cool off, but I didn't have time, so I wore oven mitts and I scooped out the insides, trying to leave a little bit of the potato meat so that the skins wouldn't completely fall apart. And essentially what I'm going to do with the filling is make a mashed potato mixture. So the first thing to add to the potato mixture is a full stick of butter. I mashed that around. And then I was using whole milk yogurt. You could also use sour cream. I used about a third of a cup, some salt, some pepper, and some shredded cheese. You can use cheddar, you can use Colby Jack, any type of cheese you want. I did also add some milk. I just didn't film it. Stirred that all up and then started filling the potato skins with the mixture. And then topped with more cheese. And then I can either bake these or I can just microwave them a few at a time when I need them. This was the pan that I was going to set aside for the next day, and this is how I served it, with just some broccoli on the side, and it was delicious. Alright, last recipe that we're going to share with you is sweet potato and black bean quesadillas. So I have peeled some sweet potatoes. I am cutting them up into large chunks about a 1-inch in diameter. I boiled those until they were soft, fork tender, and then I mashed them up, drained them and mashed them up. Once they were mashed, I added a can of drained seasoned black beans. Drained but not rinsed because you want to keep the seasonings on them. Also, there's a little bit of liquid that just helps everything to get mixed together. I mashed that around a little bit. Don't want to mash it too much. You still want some pieces of beans. And then I preheated my griddle to 320 degrees. Added my tortillas. I was using whole wheat tortillas. Added some cheese. Usually use Colby Jack cheese for this recipe. And then I added my sweet potato and black bean filling. Just put that in the middle of each, and then put the tortilla on top. I used about a third of a cup of each for the filling. Put the tortilla on top and kind of squish it around so that it spreads out the filling. And you're going to cook that for about 3 to 4 minutes on each side. And that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoy, and please subscribe.